Hey everyone, welcome back to a Fighting 17 video. Finally got over that cold that I had. Actually sound a little bit more normal, so I can think a little clearer too. So wanted to go over a little subject here, handcuffing. There's a million different ways to do it, and I want to, from the get-go, I want to make sure everybody understands. These are just a couple little tips for people out there should you find yourself in a situation where you need to handcuff somebody. Security officers, I'm not sure, what different positions you might need to use the handcuffing for, but these techniques are good to know. I like to share the knowledge that I have without giving up, the big secrets. So I'm just going to share a few things with you. I'm going to show you the basic tools that you need for handcuffing and give you a little bit of philosophy on it so you understand why there are so many different techniques and why everybody thinks that they're right. So I always just take, I just kind of pull from the group and find out what works best for me and what I feel is the safest for me, and I do it that way. So, and the situation always dictates how you're going to be doing it. So, to start off, I just want to show you the two tools that you need for handcuffing. Really simple. First off, you need handcuffs, and these are, I've got a pair that are black that I gave it a good friend of mine. They're just the exact same as these. These are Smith & Wesson's model M100s. Kind of standard issue for any kind of law enforcement job out there. And then down here I've got a ZAC tool, is what they call it. The company name, I don't know if you can see it on there. I'll try to take some pictures and add them in at the beginning and throughout the video so you can see. But it's a ZAC tool. Not sure a whole lot about the company, but it is stamped that it's made in the USA, and from what I can tell, it has been made in the USA. So absolutely, I want to support that. You're going to need a good cuff key. Make sure it fits the handcuffs that you've got. But the handcuff keys are just invaluable. You want the extra length. In fact, this is about the shortest that I would ever go on a handcuff key, just because if you get your locks on the bottom side of somebody, you don't want to be, their hands get in the way. They always get in the way. So the more leverage you have and the more length you have away from the handcuff, the easier it makes it to get them on and off. The handcuff keys that come with it, are just like 2 inches or so, and that's just not good enough for me. So just some basic things on the handcuffs. As far as maintenance, these really don't need a whole lot of maintenance at all. The most you'd ever want to do is get some boiling water on the stove, and you're going to want to put them in scalding, boiling water for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll see film coming off and stuff, and it's going to boil out everything out of here. Once you're done with that, pull them out, set them somewhere safe. Be very careful with them because they will be very, very hot for a while. Set them down on a towel, dab them off. Once they're cool enough to touch or use the gloved hand for, you can go ahead and take compressed air, like you use for your computer keyboard and stuff, and blow all the holes out on here. You want to make sure you blow out the double lock. You want to make sure you blow out the locking mechanism. And then also, if you open up the handcuff here, you can see the feet, which are those little tiny parts right in there. Those are the feet. You want to make sure everything around there is cleared out as well. And then also at the top, the hinge is what they call it right here, and the pivot. That's very critical points. And all you're going to want to do as far as lubrication is graphite. Don't use any kind of liquid. It's just going to it'll irritate the skin of everybody that you put the handcuffs on, and it doesn't really work that great. So drop a little graphite in up here, and drop a little graphite in down here on the teeth, and occasionally I'll drop it in around the lock mechanism if it's stiff. Best way to do that is just take your tool, put a little graphite on the end, stick it down, put it in, work it around a few times, and the more and more you use the handcuffs, the more and more it will loosen up. So that's beneficial. Just a couple philosophies here. Your handcuffs always be kept in a ready state, which is on the last notch like that. That way, when you set them and drive them on, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. You don't want to hurt someone, so you just set it, drive it on, they'll come around, and you can tighten them up from there. So you always want to double lock the handcuffs when you're done handcuffing somebody too. So make sure you know how to operate it. You simply take the back end of the tool, put it in down here by the double lock, and slide it over towards the lock mechanism. And that ensures that this cannot tighten up any further and possibly injure your subject. Turn all the way to the right to unlock the double lock, and then move to the left to get it free, and you can finish on handcuffing. Taking handcuffs off is a whole nother subject, and so we're not going to go into that. This is just going to be a couple of basic positions, and if this video goes good, people like it, they want more information from here, I'll make further videos, go into further technique, further philosophy. But I'm going to give you a couple demonstration videos real quick and show you as far as how you're going to deploy these, and two options you have for basic handcuffing if you have somebody who's compliant. These don't work on people that aren't compliant, but we'll go into that in the future as well if people are enjoying these videos. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Here's a couple demonstrations, and hope you enjoy it. These are the basic instructions for basic handcuffing. Basically, you're going to order the subject to stand the way you want them to before you approach them. That way they're most vulnerable, and if something were to happen, you could quickly, conduct a counter assault if you needed to. So I'm going to start out by giving instructions. Alright, spread your legs as far as you can. Spread them further. You always want to make sure to tell them to spread it further than what they did, because they can always go further, puts them more off balance. Tell them to point their toes outward. Point your toes outward. Put your hands behind your back of your hands touching. Just like that. Tell them to bend over at the waist as well. That puts them further off balance. At this point, you can get your handcuffs out. Up until this point, you want to keep your hand either on your gun or whatever the situation is dictating. You want to keep your hand free just in case you need it. At this point, you can go ahead and deploy your handcuffs, and this is how you're going to want to set them up. You're going to want them to the last notch. And you're going to want to hold it like this, and you need to practice this position and hold it as tight as possible. The most dangerous time is always handcuffing and unhandcuffing, as far as when people become assaultive towards law enforcement officers. So this is what you need to hold it, and you need to have a very strong grip. What you're going to do is come up and get a web-to-web grip on the right hand. I'm just going to demonstrate what it looks like, and then I'll annotate the rest of the instructions. The next version was taught to me while I was in the field training program. This is not the version I was taught, but I do see the benefits to it. So I just want to show you guys so you have an idea. I'll go into a lot more detail in further videos. I just want to give you guys a quick example of these handcuffing techniques. Okay, man, I want you to spread your feet apart as wide as you can. Point your toes outward. Just bend over slightly at the waist and put your hands behind your back. I want you to interlace your fingers like you're saying a prayer. Okay, you're going to come up and you're going to grab over the top of the hand and pull it backwards. That way you have control of the shoulders, and you're locking out the elbows and the shoulders so you have as much control as possible. You're actually going to set the left cuff first, then you're going to separate the hands, and then set and drive on the right hand. And this is what it'll look like.
Conspiración, la llave bota y yo no soy ejemplo. Mi respeto al tempo, su único delito fue tener talento. Que tú quieres que yo escriba guasimillas mentira. Sé que el DEA me tiene en la mira. Yo estoy claro, mis impuestos pago. Critican si trabajo, critican si soy vago. Y hago en primera y me tratan de ser